Hey y'all, it's time for our June 2026 High Country Real Estate Market Update. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or you're just curious about what's happening in our mountain real estate market, well, then you're in the right place. I'm Terri Boyer with Mountain Life Realty, powered by Keller Williams High Country, and today we're going to talk about June 2026 market numbers. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what those numbers actually mean for buyers and sellers. Let's go ahead and start with inventory. The number of new listings that are coming onto the market dropped by about 22% compared to May, which isn't all that surprising. We often see listing activity start to slow down a bit as summer gets underway. Even with fewer new listings, our overall active inventory remains at about 5% higher than this time last year. That means that buyers are continuing to enjoy more choices than they've had throughout much of the last few years. Although we're certainly not seeing an oversupply of homes, but overall inventory is becoming healthier and more balanced. Now let's talk about demand. The number of homes that sold in June increased about 7% from last month. And when compared to last year, total closings are up roughly 8%. That's encouraging because it tells us buyers are still active despite mortgage rates remaining higher than many people would like. And it tells us that well-priced homes that are properly marketed continue to attract serious buyers. Looking at pricing, the average sales price increased about 3% in June, reaching $681,000. However, the median sales price is actually down just 0.5% compared to last year. Those two numbers together tell an important story. Higher-end homes likely boosted the average price this month, while the typical home value has remained remarkably stable. Instead of dramatic appreciation or depreciation, we're seeing pricing normalize, which is generally a sign of a healthier market. One trend we've been watching all year is the average sold price per square foot. In June, it came in at $363 per square foot, continuing its gradual decline from the highs we experienced earlier this spring. But remember, price per square foot can fluctuate quite a bit depending on the types of homes that are selling each month. So we don't recommend relying on that number alone when trying to determine your home's value. Because every property is unique, especially here in the High Country, where location, views, acreage, vacation rental potential, and amenities can dramatically impact the home's value. Homes also sold a little faster this month. The average days on market decreased from 132 days down to 119 days. And interestingly, the median days on market remains about 10% higher than last year, which tells us some homes are still taking longer to sell than they did during the peak frenzy. So what's the biggest takeaway? Pricing and presentation matter more today than they have in several years. The days of simply just putting a sign in the yard and expecting multiple offers are largely behind us, folks. Another interesting statistic is that cash buyers accounted for approximately 45% of all sales in June. That's nearly half the market. This continues to highlight just how many second home buyers, retirees, and investors are purchasing property throughout the High Country. So what does all of this mean? Well, overall, I'd describe today's market as healthy, active, and much more balanced than we've seen over the past several years. Buyers have more inventory and a little more negotiating power. And sellers are still seeing strong demand, especially when their homes are priced correctly and marketed professionally. It's no longer a market where you can simply just name your price, but it's also far from a buyer's market. We're finding a nice middle ground between the two. If you're wondering what your home is worth in today's market, or if you're considering buying a home here in the North Carolina High Country Mountains, we would love to help. We specialize in Boone, Blowing Rock, Banner Elk, Beech Mountain, Sugar Mountain, Newland, West Jefferson, and the surrounding mountain communities. If you found this update helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment below letting me know what questions you'd like for me to answer in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.